Hi, my name is Kabri Mullins, and this is my ACOM 1300 professional interview video. So I am very interested in livestock photography, and I hope to own my own livestock photography business one day. So I decided that I would interview Dylan Voiles. She started livestock photography 9 years ago, and then she founded D. Felger Photography 7 years ago, and she started working with graphic design in 2016, which then led her to launch her own advertising company called Premier Initiative in 2018. And her husband, Austin Voiles, recently purchased the Purple Circle magazine in 2019, so they are currently in charge of that. My first question for Dylan was, what is your background, and is there any significant moments that led you to your career? She said that she grew up in South Texas with her parents raising cattle, and she showed her whole life, and she was very involved in 4-H and FFA. She originally didn't think that she would pursue a career in agriculture, but she knew that she always wanted to be an entrepreneur, as she was raised by entrepreneurs. And a fun fact is her father actually started renting out the inner tubes so that people could go float the rivers down in South Texas. I asked her, is there an influential person that has triggered your interest in agricultural communications? And she said Dave Ramsey and Christy Wright had a huge impact on her, as she went to a conference in Nashville, Tennessee for 3 days, where she basically learned from Christy Wright just how to be her own boss, and she said that she absolutely loved that experience. She said that her husband, Austin Voiles, pushes her every day to be the best version of herself and is constantly pushing her to keep learning, and he is also her biggest inspiration. I asked her, what educational steps did you take to get your job, and she said that she went to Blaine College in Brenham, Texas for 2 years, and then she went to West Texas A&M and graduated with a degree in agricultural communications. Was there any internships or other opportunities that helped you get to this point in your career? So Dylan was not actually a traditional student, so instead of doing internships, she went and she started running her own businesses. I asked her, were you always interested in agriculture, or did you think maybe you didn't want a career in ag? And Dylan said that she was a little bit burnt out after high school just because she was so involved. So she actually went to Blinn College just as a general student. And then during her time at Blinn, she started getting back into livestock photography, and ever since then, she has stayed involved in the industry. Why did you choose a career in agricultural communications? Dylan said, ag doesn't get a positive light, and there is a barrier between producers and consumers. It is our job to help break down that barrier. And she said that she was not interested in becoming an ag teacher, so she decided that the best way for her to help the industry was through her design and photography skills. When did you decide that this was the career for you? She said that they had worked closely with the previous owners of Purple Circle, and they always offered it to the Voiles, but they never thought that it was right for them. So a little interesting story she told me is that they went to church on a Sunday, and the sermon was all about if God gives you an opportunity, then you take charge of that opportunity and you do it to serve Him. And so they thought and they prayed about it, and actually that next Tuesday, there was 2 huge projects that just basically fell into their lap, and they kind of just took off from there. I asked her, what are some communication skills that you use on a regular or daily basis? She said that she uses hard skills and soft skills on a daily basis, and social media is a huge, huge portion of her job. So it's all about management, understanding all the components of it, and then interaction with followers and possible clientele, marketing, and content development. And her soft skills were communicating with others, task management, and conflict resolution. I asked her what does your typical daily schedule look like. She said that she has a fairly flexible schedule with having a home office. When she's not taking care of her daughter or her family, she works on designs, editing, or anything that needs to be done for any of her businesses. She said that you could work anywhere from 4 days to 16 hours a day, just depends on you and how successful you want to be. Have you noticed any geographical differences in agricultural procedures throughout the nation? She said that a lot of her customers have different requests, just even between living in New Mexico and living in Texas, and a lot of her customers want her to come either quarterly, monthly, yearly, just kind of depends on that person. And just she said that it was really interesting just to see the different ways that people run all of their operations. What was a low point in your career, and what is your biggest achievements? She said that she did not feel that she's had a low point in her career, but she said working with her husband and one of her closest friends, that they butt heads very often, which just causes some conflicts, but nothing too huge. And after she landed her first large advertising contract, it made her hungry to make bigger sales, and just setting goals and striving for success and achieving them, which really kept her going, not only to provide for her family, but then she started asking herself, well, how much of this can go towards my daughter's college fund, and just how much more, and she just wanted to keep growing. And how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your job, and what changes have you had to make? And she said with the livestock shows being canceled that they were unable to take pictures at shows, but the livestock industry never stopped, so they had to keep taking pictures of people's operations, even if they just had to change how they went about things, just slightly different, just by wearing a mask or simple little things. And she said that Premier Initiative actually grew 30% during this pandemic, which was super beneficial. And with everything being online, there was a higher demand for logos or advertisements or anything like that, which they were glad to help with. She said that Purple Circle actually took a couple little hits, but none of them were too bad to affect the company majorly. And I asked her, what advice would you give someone who wants to pursue this career? And her first words were, Google and YouTube are your friends. And she also said, fake it till you make it. One that was really impacted me, I guess, was you create your own success, and no one helps you get to certain points in your career, so it all depends on you. She also said, don't be afraid to work at all hours of the day and be committed to your customers. And so, thank you.